Falling in love. Hello, welcome back to my channel where you should always do as I say and not as I do. So today, we're gonna be throwing a blanket party. Now, if you've never heard of a blanket party, that makes sense because neither had I. But I went on the internet and as YouTube does, it recommended to me a video on how to make one of those big, giant, chunky blankets. Then led me through a rabbit hole of blanket videos in a long time I can't get back. But I thought it'd be cool to make one of these. I think that they are a great gift idea and just like a nice thing that you can do in the fall with your hands. It's a good time. Put some candles on, some fall movies, and make it a party. So I am doing just that. So a requirement of any party, in my opinion, is food. I didn't want to overdose everybody on sugar, so I figured we should all eat a vegetable. So I went ahead and made some minestrone soup. This is a very easy thing you can find on the internet. I'm not going to waste your time on this, but... So initially, when plotting all of this, I was going to make cinnamon rolls because who doesn't like cinnamon rolls? That's festive and delicious. But then, the YouTube gods blessed me with multiple videos on how to make pumpkin cakes, and I was sold. So I found one, which I will link down below, and I am now realizing this whole video is me just referencing other videos, but hi. I did already prep everything, so you don't have to deal with that. Again, everything will be below, so you can make this on your own if you want to, but basically the premise of it is you make 2 bundt cakes. Now, I made so much batter. Like, this whole bowl was full of batter. It's 2 bundt cakes. It's a lot of cake. It's a lot of cake. And then realized the only bundt pan I own has a pattern on it, and that was not going to work because what you need to do is actually cut the slivers for the pumpkin. The nearest store near me that would sell a bundt pan was Sur La Table, and point of my story is I spent $40 on a bundt pan, so you better like this video. With clean hands, I need to, I'm going to cut the bottom of the bundt cake so that it is perfectly flat, which I feel like I'm going to be really bad at, but here's hoping. And I'm now going to place this onto my very fancy spinning cake thing that I bought from Michael's. Please don't drop this, Lauren. Next, I'm gonna pipe some cream cheese frosting onto this using just a Ziploc bag because I'm not here to mess with freaking piping bags. So if you've never seen this, you just cut a little hole off the tip. This may be too large and in charge, but hey, this is how I live my life. And then you just put the frosting in the bag, stick it into the corner where you cut that edge, and just stick it all over here. Ooh, baby. Once that's on there, I'm just gonna flatten this out. Now we're just gonna take the other cake, which is hopefully flat. Oh my god, this is huge! Now, to make this more pumpkin-y, what you do is I hopefully am not gonna be terrible at this, but I'm gonna do a little surgery and cut out divots where all of these edges are in the bundt cake so that it will go in and look more like an actual pumpkin. So I'm gonna go through here and just remove, like, make sure that these are smooth and try and get as many crumbs off as possible. And I have already made a giant bowl of buttercream. If you are going to do this, you can make obviously your pumpkin whatever color you want. I really recommend if you bake a lot or if you just love yourself, these Wilton Color Right color performance system set. It comes with all the colors. It's amazing. So to make this, I used primarily just orange, which is nice because you're not having to mix red and yellow and just like come up with something. You just have straight up orange. Then I put a couple drops of brown in there because I feel like that took, like, I think it looks more realistic with a little bit of brown because initially, like, this is coming off a little bit brighter on camera than it really is, but I also am gonna stop talking directly into this. But it was like potent food coloring orange before, so a little bit of brown I think helped. Also, this whole, like, this has required so much flour, so much sugar. Like, I've gone through so many powdered sugars. I could have a graveyard. With all the cake scraps, I packed Ira some dessert. This is what he's going to be allowed to eat because he won't be here tomorrow for the party because it's for girls, sucker. Oh, and I forgot to mention you also make a cupcake and you put that in the center of the bun pan so you can properly ice everything. So I have my giant sack of buttercream here and I am just going to straight up ice this bad boy and hopefully it comes out okay. Oh god. Oof, you are thick! Oh my god! We ran out of icing, and you should at this point be able to like scrape it up and get into those crevices, which makes it look more like a pumpkin shape. That's not gonna happen right now. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually just put this back in the fridge, and with the tiniest amount of powdered sugar that I have left over, I'm gonna make a little bit more icing and just hope I can figure it out. Okay, I give up. I don't even care anymore. This side's kind of ugly. I'm just gonna show it from this side, and it is what it is. It's gonna taste great. I'm not gonna keep touching this. For the stem, I just got a spaghetti squash, and as you can see, I just popped the top off of it, and then cut all of the squash part out, and just figured no one will eat this part of the cake. But I felt like I made it look more realistic, considering I'm done with you. Also making hot chocolate. It's like a pumpkin white hot chocolate. I put the recipe up already on Instagram, so if you want it, it's available. If you don't, the internet's there. Next, I wanted to get everything laid out and make sure that my house was clean, aka make my boyfriend be useful.
The thing with friendship is when you have to clean your air vents out for your friends, they're not really your friends to begin with.
This one looks so nice though.
If your friends want to take pics with the air vents, they have to tag me.
I think everything is prepared. I need to take the trash out. But other than that, the last thing I'm going to do is light all the fall candles. This one is from Red Leaf Home, but I got it at TJ Maxx. But this is their appleberry scent. It smells wonderful, and I feel like it's not too sweet or too, like it's still very fall, but it isn't like straight up pumpkin caramel. So that one I'm gonna burn in here. And then for the bathroom, another candle from good old TJ Maxx. This is the cedarwood and sea salt from DW Home. I have yet to burn this one, but it does smell really good, just like with the wax. Ooh, so yes, I'm gonna go take the trash out. Everybody should be here in just a minute, and then we will begin the party. Which brings us to how to make the blankets. So for this, you are going to need a ridiculous amount of yarn, or more specifically, just 5 skeins, I don't know. I just say balls. But anyway, this can be in whatever color you want. You also could mix colors if you wanted to. And you will also need some scissors. This is the yarn that I got, which you can find at Michael's, because there you can stack your coupons online, and I pretty last minute got these to under $30 for each blanket. So the easiest ways to make these are at a table or on the floor. You just want to make sure that you have a very flat surface. So taking the tail end of one of your yarn balls, you are just going to fold this over each other, creating a loop. And then with the attached yarn ball end, you are going to stick this in between that loop, creating your permanent loop, your El Presidente loop, if you will, just by tying this together, making a knot. And keep in mind when making this, you are just going to cut the rest of this tail off, so you can make this as short as you want, and we're not going to really deal with it moving forward. But again, taking the attached yarn, you are once more going to put this through your loop, folding this over, making sure that it's going flat to create a second knot. So making sure that you are trying to keep this flat, and also that you are always pulling the yarn through the same direction and laying it again in the same direction. You are just going to repeat this for as wide as you want the blanket. So for a standard throw size, I would really recommend sticking between 20 to 25 loops. It is very easy to look at this and then think it's going to be small, but I promise you this will stretch out. And if you do want it to be bigger, you will probably need more yarn. But as you saw, this still creates a very large blanket. So once you're done with that, make sure that you remember the number of loops that you have created, because this is what you are going to repeat throughout this whole process. So for starting the next next row, I like to move the ball of yarn over to the other side. I just find this helps keep everything flat and just looks better in the end. But now to start the next row, you are once again going to pull this string through the loop, which will make just another loop, but you can see that this one is on top of this. So now with the rest of your string, you are going to pull this through all of these top little holes here on your previous work. So this is honestly the hardest part throughout this whole process. And the most important thing is to just make sure you are not missing a loop. If by the end of this, you have the same amount of loops that you started with, so if you made 20 stitches across, you want to make sure that you still have 20 loops at the end of every single row. I know it can seem annoying to have to count every single row, but I promise you it is a lot more annoying to make a bunch of rows and then find out 5 rows ago you dropped a stitch and have to go back and fix it. Otherwise your blanket will start to get thinner and just isn't going to look as nice. But once you are done with that, you are just going to repeat this for probably 2 to 3 hours, honestly. Again, just making sure that you are starting a new row, counting that as one, and then just creating loops all the way across. Personally, I found that if I made tighter loops, I liked the look of this blanket better. It just creates a closer knit braid. But obviously this is totally up to you. So if you want to do tighter or looser, it doesn't really matter. You just really want to make sure that you are being consistent with this. So just make sure that as you go back and forth that these are all the same size. Personally, I found this process to be very therapeutic and just something nice to do with your hands while you watch some wonderful fall TV. In order to add more yarn, all you need to do is literally just tie together both strings from the yarn on your blanket to a new yarn ball and then just cut off any extras, and this will all blend right into your blanket. You'll know you're done and it's about time to cast off your blanket when you only have enough yarn left to fully complete only one row. So again, you do want to make sure you have enough to complete a row, but not much past that. So with the tail pushed to whatever side you're going to cast off, you are just going to take the 2 outermost loops. Then with the inner loop of the 2, you are going to push this through the outer loop. So again, inner loop going through outer. Then taking the tail, you are now going to push this through the 3rd outermost loop, which will leave you with 2 loops. So now taking the loop that you just made, you are going to push this through the outermost loop, casting off by weaving this braid. This process you are again just going to repeat this whole time by adding your tail through the innermost loop, and then putting that loop into the outer one. So you can see again, tail goes through inner loop goes through outer loop, and this will create this braid all the way across your blanket, casting it off. Once you're at the end of this, you could literally just double knot these together, cut off any excess, and you are done. And now you have this beautiful blanket with an even more beautiful person underneath. Hello. So if you are giving this away as a gift, I think it's cute to just grab some ribbon. If you are using glittery ribbon like me, make sure it is not the kind that falls everywhere. Otherwise, you're gonna have a glittery blanket, but you can just tie this on and bam, you have a beautiful present for people.
Oh, this is the yarn you got. It's like that's like a microfiber situation.
Yeah, I don't like the wool. It gets stuck in my calluses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah, sorry. If
Also,
I
it's
stole
just
all of
scratchy AF.
Yeah, it's like, I appreciate it, but I don't want it.
And it was nice, like, not having to deal with
It's so
that.
big.
I know,
This is gonna be a lot. Well, I forgot to end the vlog properly. Now everyone's leaving. What did you learn from Tall Girl?
I learned that I should have been bullied way more in high school, I guess.
Miranda, what did your short self learn from Tall Girl?
I didn't walk, I was just listening to it, and it was, I learned that you should wear a suit if you're tall.
I gotta walk this dog, and then we're gonna go to a concert, so I think this is it for this video. Kim, tell them to go do something good. Or just that.
Oh, bye everybody!
Consider this an invitation to my gangster name.
Yeah.
You're welcome.